Hi everybody, how are you? Good. I'm Rocco. This is Currie. We are going to spend a couple of minutes with you, 20 minutes with you, we've got our timer going, on 20 ways to promote your school and invigorate meetings. And what we're going to do is basically go through a couple of the apps that we actually use. Not into a lot of detail because in 20 minutes you can actually go through a lot of detail in one app and not get through the next 19. So we're going to move pretty quickly here. I am on Twitter. I'm also a school administrator, and the two do not butt heads at this point, knock on wood. But we, Brad and I, are both the co-founders of SatChat, and we use that as a way to promote education, and we also use that as a way to promote our school districts, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we go along.
We're using the Sand Timer app, Sand Timer, to keep track of our time here. So it's a great tool to use in the classroom as well. If you're doing an activity or something in a faculty meeting, the Sand Timer app is, keeps track of time, but it looks pretty neat.
Brad loves a lot, so we're going to keep them on. All right.
Again, my name is Brad Currie. I am a school administrator up in Chester, New Jersey, and you can follow me at bcurrie5 or visit my website, bradcurrie.net. And today, Scott and I are very excited to be presenting on promoting your school and invigorating meetings. All the tools that we share today not only can you use as a district-wide or school-wide thing, but also in your classrooms to assess students and to engage them in meaningful learning experiences. Right now, we're going to go to todaysmeet.com. All right, so if you go to todaysmeet.com/TMNJ13, the website's right here. We're going to do a brief 2-minute back channel. All right, a brief 2-minute back channel on ways in which you can promote your school or invigorate things in your meetings. Go to todaysmeet.com/TMNJ13. This is a great tool as a back channel to give people a voice. And right now I want you to share ways in which are tools that you use to promote the things you do in your classroom, in your schools, or ways in which you invigorate meetings or invigorate class, web tools, apps, things along those lines. So if you can please share on that, if you want to use that for a few minutes on todaysmeet.com/TMNJ13. And basically, you go to this website, you type in your name. There's no account needed. And I'm just going to type in, I love using Twitter to promote the great things that go on in our schools each day.
How many people are not on Twitter? Almost everybody is? Not on Twitter. Okay, a couple people aren't on Twitter. Some people in education are concerned about using Twitter because everything's out there and it's public. This is a good way of keeping it very controlled. So you just create quickly the site, give the address out, you can use it in a faculty meeting, you can post a question, you can put something up for discussion. It can go, the discussion can go while you're presenting or giving other information, and it's just there. It's not out in cyberspace. So it's nice, it's secure, it's simple, and also if you're trying to get people to embrace Twitter, this is a great first step.
Now, you can also print out the transcript from this session that I created. It's only open for 1 week. You can print out the transcript, you can share it on Twitter, so it's a great way to archive as well. And just 2 more examples with today's meet. One, when I was in Reddington as an administrator, we used this in a faculty meeting to back channel, and then one of our teachers who was very reluctant to integrate technology in her classroom used it as they were reading the book about Jackie Robinson's life with 6th graders. And she had the kids in groups using laptops going on to today's meet, and one kid had asked on the stream, what does lynching mean? And they had a half-hour discussion on this very unfortunate topic. And that question wouldn't have been asked if she didn't use today's meet, because he was a very quiet kid. He asked that question on today's meet. In 2 weeks, when we open up school for staff meetings, we're going to use today's meet to back channel about what a great lesson really is. And we're going to have all of our teachers log in to our session and share ideas.
So that conversation can go on for the next 15 minutes or so, or it can go on the rest of the
We'll
day.
tweet it out later.
One of the things that I did as soon as I became superintendent of Spotswood Public Schools in January was I started a Twitter account. Now, I have a Twitter account for myself as a educator, and I have a Twitter account for my school district. I will be honest, this is a very low following because my community doesn't yet grasp its usefulness, but it's growing slowly. I put out a lot of stuff. I have 135 tweets so far in what was 6 months time frame or so, and I'm going to use this tied in with our brand new website come September, and there's going to be a good connection between the website and the Twitter feed. But what I'm finding is people are a little slow to accepting this as a way to get school information. However, you know when they will accept it? When I start telling them that school's delayed or school's closed due to weather, and it goes out there first before it goes out anywhere else.
Do you promote the text messaging aspect of it too?
No, I haven't promoted that yet. Off of Twitter?
Yeah.
No, I haven't promoted.
That's a good idea.
They have it set up with Twitter that if a parent doesn't follow Twitter, they text message. You can find out what the specific handle is. They text message like your account name or whatever to. There's a specific Twitter number like 40404 or something like that. And then basically, any tweet you send out, they just get a text message.
That's great.
Instead. So like, there's a lot of schools that will do that. Tell parents who don't want to do Twitter,
Right.
get a text message.
Is that through Twitter?
So it's through Twitter. Twitter is built.
Yeah, they've always had that, I think.
They've always had it.
I always
People
forget
know
about
it.
that.
Chicago Public Schools just started doing
Did
it
they?
like on a massive scale.
That's a great
And they
option.
just put posters around the school saying, text this and you get text that.
That's a great option.
And the good thing about Twitter, even though this is Scott's, and our district has more followers than Scott's district. No, I'm just kidding. But anything you tweet out, you can set it up so that it automatically posts it on your school or district's Facebook page. Or in your classroom, if you want to communicate with your parents and students about assignments and things along those lines, information, you can do the same thing. And it's vice versa. Whatever you put on Facebook, it automatically be tweeted out. So you can go into the settings and set that up.
And we're doing that now. We have a Facebook page also. It's actually handled by our Board of Education. And so there'll be an interface between the Twitter feed and the Facebook information. And this is actually caught on, and I do really enjoy the fact that the Board of Education has promoted the school system through Facebook. Both Facebook and Twitter, I've told my community, I've told my Board of Education, I've told my staff, it's there to promote the excellent things that happen every day in school. You know, the front page of your local newspaper is never going to read something positive about your school system. Yet, Twitter, Facebook, all these other apps that we're going to show you will be able to promote those great things and put it right out there to your entire group of stakeholders.
And Alicia, where's Alicia? Hi, Alicia.
Hey.
She brings up a good point. Our district has designated a hashtag to tweet, Instagram, etc. So that's what the schools are doing now. They're going to social media to inform stakeholders via a hashtag. You can do that on Instagram. Now you can do it on Facebook, Twitter, to archive and to keep information organized.
All right, one other thing that I've used, and I've used to great success, is something called S'more, s'more.com. S'more is awesome. I picked it up at one of these type of conferences. Basically, you know when you get in the mail from your real estate agent a little glossy about houses that are selling, or the dry cleaner gives you one of these little cards with information on it? Digitally. It's a digital card. Easy. It is drag and click, put information in. You want to put audio in, you want to put video in, you want to put pictures in, you want to put information in. The first thing I promoted when I came on board as superintendent was our Teachers of the Year. 507 visitors to that link exclusively within my school population. Once you get 50 hits, the analytics open up. And it'll tell you how many people, what locations, how long did they spend, how many of them went to the bottom of the document. It's a lot of good information. I kind of get tied into the analytics once it opens up, and I want to see some things. It's good information. I put out a monthly newsletter now to my community, my educational community, called Spot On. Take everything from social media. All the links are from social media. Through S'more. I get 500, 600, 1,000 hits because it's easy, it's simple, it's clean, it's not complex. You want to read something, click on it. If you don't, you scroll down. You don't like it, close it, and wait till the next one comes in. Very easy, free, smore.com.
Pinterest. When I was brought on board in Chester back in 2012, I said, you know what? We do a lot of great things, and the newspapers and other online organizations write a lot of great stuff about our school and about our district. So why not create a Pinterest page and create pins to put on our board? We created a Black River Middle School Pinterest board. And every time we're mentioned in an online newspaper or something online, I will create a pin for that. You can see all our different pins. All the great things we did in 2012, articles from NJ.com, articles from the Daily Record, articles from the Patch, I put on here and archive it. All right, so this is a great thing to do. In your classroom, you can create a board for your classroom and pin resources or pin the great learning experiences that go on in your school each day. I know connected educators that instead of using Twitter, they use Pinterest to stay on top of best practices, lessons, and things along those lines. So Pinterest is a great resource. Blogging. A year and a half ago, if you said that Brad Currie was going to blog, I would have laughed at you. You know, fast forward to now, it's something that I truly enjoy. It enables me to reflect. But as a tool, you know, I strongly encourage you to use it in your classroom for your students, particularly middle school and high school kids. We know of elementary school kids around the world that are blogging, have 20,000 bloggers, and make money off of blogging, 9-year-olds and things along those lines. Because kids get tired of writing for their teachers and for their parents. They want an authentic audience. They want a worldwide audience in a safe environment. And blogging is a great way to do that. It's also a great way as a school or a district to promote the great things that you do each and every day. And we have a tech detectives club where middle school kids go around and fix computers and things on a weekly basis. And they wrote a blog post about what they did. Took pictures, we incorporated it. You can kind of see it here, the tech detectives blog post. And we blasted it out to our school stakeholders. Board of Ed loved it, administration loved it, the kids loved it. All around a good thing. So blogging, you can use WordPress and things along those lines of creating blogs. Audiobook is a great website to create podcasts, 3 minutes or less. All right, because you don't want to go on and on and on. Whether it's a blog, whether it's a podcast, people want information. They want it short and concise. Brevity is the 21st century term to me. It's very important to get your point across. So audiobook. Go to audioboo.com with the app. You sign up for it, and you record your voice. We use it, Scott and I use it to promote SatChat. It's one of the tools we use to promote SatChat. The upcoming week, here's our topic, here's our guest moderators, come join us. Think about the ways in which you can use Audioboo in your classroom for kids to use or for yourself, and also for your district or school. It's very easy and it allows you to share to social media, allows you to email. We had one of our language arts teachers in 7th grade that had his kids use it. The kids brought in their mobile devices, they recorded it, they shared it out, and they actually got on a radio station and shared what they call boos. When you share, it's actually called a boo. You know? So they really enjoyed that, and it was great. One last thing before Scott speaks again, roundtables. This really has nothing to do with technology, but I think it's important in terms of promoting your school and invigorating meetings and giving people voice, whether you have student roundtables, teacher roundtables, or parent roundtables. It's an important practice to have on a monthly basis where you try to get the feeling of your school or district. What is going on? What's working? How can we get better each and every day? And I think it's important to have that as a school community.
A monthly newsletter through Google Docs. How many of you are using Google Docs now? It's no longer that hidden secret of exciting stuff that you can do. Google Docs has opened the world to a lot of great things for educators. A lot of school districts now are just converting from the Microsoft suite into the Google Apps suite. And this way you can share material, you can provide material to people that's updated and updated with multiple people online. We actually still have Microsoft in my district at this point, but we are going to be examining the use of Google types of documents where we can have multiple people involved at the same time producing that document so it goes out with accurate, timely information.
This is an app, a lot of schools are going to apps to inform stakeholders. So it's something that if your school doesn't have, it's something we're working on in our district to have an app. We just updated our website. Hopefully in the next month or two, we have an app to accompany that that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store. I think it's very important that people have information with a few taps on their mobile devices.
I just want to touch base on the app for a second again. I actually heard a presentation by the superintendent of Edison when they went out and had somebody create the app for them. The app is amazing. Anybody from Edison Public Schools? No, the app is absolutely incredible. So we are going to be launching a brand new website in our school district in September. And one of the things that we want is an app for our community. So parents can go on their phone, on the field, or at practice and see what's going on in the school system. No longer do you have to spend tremendous amount of money to pay for an app for your website. Look at the websites your schools have. A lot of them now have the app made for you. So I'm using a new site called School Insights. I'm not promoting them, not a paid endorsement here. But when you switch over, they've already created the app. So basically what happens is you go to the App Store, you get the app, you tell them what schools or the school district you want access to, and it automatically constantly feeds the new content to the app when you hit it. We are a now generation. We are a group of people that we want our information in our hand at this minute. These are just examples of how you can provide that to your community. And having an app for your website is going to change the way your parents gain information and keep them up to date.
Okay, we have 3 minutes left on our sand timer map. All right, so we're just going to quickly go through the rest of these things here. Online newspaper. There are ways to do this, whether it's through Google Sites or through Weebly or through, there's actually a website, I think called onlinenewspaper.com or something. I know New Milford High School up in North Jersey uses it. The students have a new online newspaper they call the Lance. They create it, they put the content on here. It's a great way to promote the great things that are going on and give voice to students. On-air Google Hangouts. You talk about invigorating staff meetings. Wouldn't it be great to bring in an educational person who is an expert on differentiated instruction through Google, through the Google Hangout, and then you can record it through this new feature that Google Hangout has called On Air. As long as I think it's 10 minutes or more, you can record it and then have that as an archive to fall back on for your staff. So it's very, very interesting. That obviously have a great website, revamp it, keep it updated.
The link to your social media feeds have to be on your website today. They all have to be tied in. So you're talking about an efficient use of information and connection. If you're using Facebook, if you're using Twitter, if you're using some of these other sites, something we just saw in another session, you have to have those links so everybody knows where to find the information.
Yeah, touch base, have good contacts with your local newspaper because they're all online now too, and they want to share your story. So make sure you know the writers, staff members at your local newspaper, and get that information out there. It's always good publicity. My School Messenger or Honeywell, all right, they all have now social media components. You get that email blast or that phone call. They also have the ability to tweet out and use Facebook posts. TouchCast. Danielle Hartman did a session on this last session there. It's a great way to record a video of you speaking and also integrate Twitter feeds and Google searches and things along those lines. So check out TouchCast. Instagram. You want to have a picture archive of all the great things that go on in your school. I strongly encourage you to look at Instagram. YouTube channel. I think it's a great idea for your school to have a YouTube channel, concerts, sporting events, and just keep an archive going.
I'm going to wrap up my section. We're talking about a YouTube channel or any video channel where you can actually keep free video content. Here's what we're going to be doing with it this year to promote our school system. We're a K-12 district. When you have children, I have 3 kids of my own. I'm an educator. I still struggled with reading with my kids because sometimes they weren't interested in it. Imagine the parent who didn't go to school to be an educator struggling with their child for reading or helping with homework or doing something. We are going to put a video library together to through our video channel service that'll be up there for parents at any time. 2 to 5 minute videos. How do you read to your child? How do you help them with homework? How do you deal with a frustrated child? And it's going to be access for them. Talking about promoting your school, that's a great way of promoting learning outside of the school day. And you have your teachers do those videos, and they're quick, they're simple, and they go right up online.
Flickr, great way to crowdsource photos. Have a smart TV in your building to promote all the great things and inform people. That's what we're looking at. Probably by November, we'll have a smart TV in our hallway that's hooked into the internet. And this is from Jimmy Cassis out in Iowa. All right, this is his TV and all the great things. There's a Twitter feed going on here, weekly lunch menu, QR code, great way to promote and then do things. Have a QR code. Your classroom, have a QR code that kids can take out their cell phones or their iPads, scan it, get information, things along those lines. We don't have time for this SmackDown, maybe later if we can have another longer presentation. The link to this presentation is actually the link to the SmackDown is here. You can write it down or we can share it out later. It's right here. So if you want to add resources to this, that's great.
Actually, it's at the angle. Can you just read that?
Copy it and put it into the, you want to teach me? Yeah, put it on the TeachMeet area.
I'll
Got
yeah.
access to it. Any questions?
What was the name of the app you said Edison Public Schools uses? Or the company that created their app?
It would be right on their site. You'd have to take a look at what it is. School Insights is the website provider that we're using that actually provides the app for you.
Okay.
So we'll tweet out this presentation. It's also on my website, and I'll put it out in just a second.
And if you're not doing anything, 7:30 in the morning, Saturday mornings, we have an educational conversation called Sat Chat. You're welcome to join.
Thank you.
Thank you.